Okay, so today I'm going to do a quick build description and gameplay showcase of my Sticky Bomb Sentry pistol marking build. It's really different from the metagame. It's really fun to play. It has a lot of creative potential, and it's just really different from anything out there right now that I've seen, anyways. So I'm going to get right into it. It utilizes 4-piece Sentry, okay, and as you can see, my toughness is not that high. This is how I believe that Tactician should have actually been made, and how the playstyle should have been. I don't think Tactician was ever a really fun thing to go up against or to play as, but this right here, in my eyes, blends a little bit more of what I did enjoy about using a gun to kill players, and the joy of that one-shot sticky bomb feeling that I really think drew a lot of players in. So you're still going to have that feeling, and the bonus is that you can actually one-shot players with this build right through their EDR. If they're running 2-piece final measure, it does not matter. You can still one-shot them. So that's a very important thing to note, and it's kind of fun. But it does take a lot of micromanagement on the aim reticle. You have to be quick on the sticks with your pistol and things like that. And it's a really creative build overall. So there's 4-piece Sentry and 2-piece Tac. Now the 2-piece Tac is going to give you the extra 4,000 skill power from the 2-piece bonus. That's why I'm using it. I have some decently rolled 268 pieces. Again, that's why. And then the 4-piece Sentry for the marking mechanic. And you're only going to be using your pistol. You're never really going to switch. But the possibility is there with the 4-piece Sentry. If you're really good with a shotgun, or you have a god rolled shotgun or something like that, then go ahead and use it. It's still going to be effective. So if you're really good with a sniper, you have a really nice SVD or M1A that you've rolled and you really want to take advantage of, then go ahead and use that by all means. It's still effective. Anything with a semi-auto rate of fire that you can mark targets with is going to be your best friend for this build. So getting right into it, I'm going to start with my chest piece. Okay, so I'm using a Sentry's Call chest piece. 880 on firearms after you factor in the mods. I have 2 firearms mods. This is because I need to achieve over 2260 in firearms to activate cool-headed on my pistol, but I'll go into that later. So I have 4-piece Sentry's Call, and this chest piece has rolled armor. Again, I want to achieve the armor cap. I'm very squishy, okay, but as you're going to be able to see in the gameplay showcase, I can still survive players shooting at me. I think toughness is actually, at a certain point, becoming overrated now. If I do go up against a really talented shotgunner, I will get melted, and it will be a really bad time for me. But I think that toughness, if you're positionally aware, if you are on top of your strategy, it's not as big a factor, and you can actually do builds like this, and they function well. I have a really powerful heal, and in the end, I don't need 600,000 toughness or 500,000 or even 400,000. I function very well on this build with 323, and it's very nice. So the Sentry's Call harness has armor to achieve that armor cap. Very nice. Ammo capacity doesn't really matter for this. First aid self-heal. That's amazing. I love that a lot. Now this is actually a pre-patched Sentry's Call harness. I don't have a 268 version. If you have one, your build is going to be more effective than mine. So there is room to improve upon this. This is not min-maxed fully. Now moving on, we have the mask. So I'm going to talk about the mask now. Skill power. You definitely want skill power in your mask for sure, 100%. With this build, you're going for super high skill power. You're going for, your sticky bomb to have a lot of damage, so that's nice. Whenever you can in the skill attribute area, you want to roll sticky bomb damage or first aid self-heal. It's going to allow you to stay alive longer and to do more damage with your primary skill. So that's nice. It's a stamina mask in addition to that. In the mod slot, I do have a firearms mod, again, to achieve enough firearms for cool-headed. So that's just something important to note. Moving on to my pads, I have Sentry's Call knee pads. The major attribute should in fact be armor on this. I can't re-roll that right now. I'm just working with what I have. But the best major attribute would be armor to achieve the armor cap without having to use armor on your firearms mods. And then in your firearms mods, instead of using firearms, you could use more of these. I have firearms with skill power. Instead of having 2 firearms mods with armor, as I do right now, I could actually gain almost 3,000 more skill power and be up at 50,000 if I had rolled armor instead of critical hit damage here. So that's something important to note. First aid ally heal should be sticky bomb damage or first aid self heal to get the maximum potential out of the build. Going over to my holster, just a really great 268 holster, and I rolled armor, very important. Pulse critical hit damage, I'm still in the process of re-rolling that. It needs a lot more credits, but if I can get that to sticky bomb damage, again, it's just going to increase the potency of the build. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my 2-piece Tac pieces. The gloves here, they have electronics because I need to get over 26 or 700 electronics, maybe 22. I'll have to check in a second for cool-headed. But I need to actually achieve the cool-headed electronics requirement because it's on my pistol. And that's something very important to the build. This has sticky bomb damage at 9%, amazing roll. Has marksman rifle damage, and damage to elites. I would prefer the damage to elites was actually shotgun damage, because then whatever, semi-automatic type I wanted to be using, whether it was a shotgun, a pistol, or a marksman rifle, I would be getting some bonus damage on that. So these are really great gloves for my purposes, and they're going to allow me to achieve the tac bonus and not really sacrifice anything. Normally people are running firearms gloves. I'm running electronic gloves just to activate cool-headed. So then I move on to my backpack. You definitely want skill power on your backpack. 7,000 skill power just as a major attribute. That's amazing. I rolled electronics again to allow me to achieve the cool-headed talent, and then some, and also to increase, base skill power and, decrease my cooldowns and things like that. Support station duration and pulse duration. If either one of those was something to do with sticky bomb or first aid self-heal, again, the build would be much more effective. But it gets the job done. In the mod slot, I have stamina with skill power. Whenever you can with your mods, you want to be achieving more and more skill power. This build relies on being quick. You have to outwit your opponents. You have to outmaneuver your opponents. You can't actually ever face tank anything. You're going to be popping your heal repeatedly. You are going to be dodging around, but you're not going to be, you don't have that safety blanket of having 600,000 toughness. It's not even close. You have to be very careful and very quick. It's an agile build, as I would call it. So that's all the gear pieces. I'm going to move on to my weapons. I have an M1A. I'm not going to go into much detail. Has decent talents. I mostly use that for my Deadeye build, but it's a semi-automatic gun, so I'm going to use it to mark targets if I need to. You can also switch out this G36. I mean, you can use whatever you want in your secondary weapon slot, but if you want to always be prioritizing marking, go with a shotgun. That's what I have here. MA70. Nice rolls. Deadly brutal. So I can output damage. I could activate capable if I got a little bit more firearms, but I don't have that. So I can output damage. I have both of these active. That's nice. And then the most important thing is your pistol. So with this build, I'm using a pistol that has harmful and cool-headed. Cool-headed is the most important. Every headshot reduces skill cooldowns by 6.5%, and that stacks up very quickly. Now with the first wave X45, the magazine is 15, the rate of fire is great. I can land a lot of headshots in a short amount of time, and I can mark targets, getting the decreased cooldowns. This allows me to get my sticky bomb off cooldown extremely quickly, get my heal off cooldown extremely quickly. And also something else to note is that when you're marking with a pistol, you don't necessarily go rogue. You can headshot the target 3 times, triple mark them, and then wait for the opportunity in which you want to sticky bomb. That's a really convenient thing. I actually trick players into going rogue quite often. I'll actually shoot their head 3 times, triple mark them, and then I will shoot the sticky bomb on the ground, but I won't detonate it. And then they will immediately shoot me. They'll flag rogue. Then I can detonate the sticky bomb and kill them. I don't have very great footage of that. I wasn't recording at the time where I did this a few times, but I do have some good footage of how the build works. So that's something important to note. There's a lot of different strategies involved where you can take advantage of the enemy getting overzealous, shooting you, going rogue, and you can time things, and as long as you're one step ahead of the game and you plan correctly, you're going to have great results with this build. Okay, so I'm going to throw it over to the gameplay. Actually, real quick, I'm going to talk about abilities and talents. First things first, should be kind of obvious, running BFB Sticky Bomb, okay? As you can see, maxed out 250, I'm reaching the cap. Now, normally this wouldn't be enough to kill a player if they're wearing 2-piece final measure. They would probably just, brush it off, but when you triple mark them, it is enough. So that's important to note that the Sentry's call marks do function with the Sticky Bomb damage. Other than that, overheal with overdose, your strong heal, I heal for 100,000. I can go right from 1 bar of health all the way up to a max overshield pretty much. So that's really convenient. For talents, you definitely want chain reaction. You don't need it to proc. I can actually show a clip right away that you do not need chain reaction. You can still mark targets and kill them without it, but it is very helpful if you're fighting a squad. I use on the move because I am typically moving when I detonate that sticky bomb, and it does proc, or when I rifle butt. And I use critical save. I always use that to get more tanky. Very nice. I have one is none on in this instance because I am specifically aiming for the head at all times. And I'm not in like a full group, and we're not functioning as a unit of 4 very well. But if you are in a group of 4, you're going to want to switch this over to triage, okay? Triage is going to allow you, again, to achieve, faster heals and faster sticky bombs. Anything to do with cooldown reduction is extremely valuable to the build. Okay, so I'm going to throw it over to the gameplay now, and I'm going to discuss, how it functions. Okay, so here we are. I'm actually going to go head-to-head in a one-on-one with this guy, and I have 1 second on my rogue timer. As you can see, I just stacked him, 3 stacks right there. And then I use the sticky bomb. Now when it detonates, I get all that increased damage, and I'm doing 144,000, if I saw correctly there, damage to him. Now that's enough to one-shot pretty much anyone, even a very tanky build. So that's a very big positive to the build that I like a lot. Another thing that you can see is that hopefully I won't actually go rogue here. I can stack this target. Now yeah, as you can see, I marked him twice, and I did not go rogue. He turns around. He's ready to fight me, and then he goes rogue because he thinks that I should have gone rogue already. Now, I didn't actually kill him with that sticky bomb. He clearly has prioritized final measure pieces as well as some bonus EDR on other gear pieces, but it does actually display that I can survive. As you can see, his squad showed up. Everybody's now shooting me. My heal is hyper effective in situations like this. The sticky bomb did end up killing a player there. I pistol whipped him. It's a really fun and functional build that I enjoy a lot. Now, this is the only scenario where I enjoy a sticky bomb build. I do not like it when I'm a tank and I can't do anything else. But this really fast pace, jumping out from behind cover, marking targets build is really fun for me. So this random revived me. I'm not really sure why, because I kind of go on to terrorize them a little bit. But he was nice and he did. And that's another bonus, is that you can trick people into going rogue and, get kills and not need to go rogue yourself. As you can see, boom, dropped him there. I marked him successfully with headshots with my pistol and then dropped him with the sticky bomb. All the while, every headshot was decreasing my cooldown, so that was nice as well. And I was getting my heal back extremely quickly. If you are accurate, if you are really quick with the sticks and you can land those headshots, the build is that much more effective. I would almost compare this to the Deadeye build, in which if you are very accurate, there's nearly unlimited potential for the build. He must have a lot of EDR, because he sustained quite a bit of damage there, and it should have actually dropped him in my eyes, but he didn't go down. A lot of players are running a significant amount of EDR, but from time to time you will encounter players that aren't. Any player that is not running two-piece final measure, it will instantly be one-shotted by this no matter what, even with just one stack. As you can see, those two must have had final measure. The third one did not, and he went down. He also took bonus damage because he was marked. It's a really fun build. You can actually take on 4v1s, 3v1s if you're very skilled and very quick. I can't, successfully do that all the time, but it's really enjoyable. And it's not the typical Tactician. So when someone fights you, they may be frustrated because you're using a sticky bomb, but at the same time, I don't actually feel bad in that instance, because I'm squishy. If they're fast, if they can hit headshots, they will kill me. There really isn't some massive safety blanket that I have over me. There's nothing to catch me. There's no safety net. I need to be fast. And if I'm not fast, I will die. So as you can see, it doesn't work every single time. You're not going to one-shot every player. It's going to be actually quite difficult to one-shot players unless you get those triple stacks, because a lot of people are prioritizing final measure. It's just, I really can't say enough about it in terms of how fun it is. Using your pistol, you're never going to have to worry about ammo. That's a nice thing as well, and I enjoy that quite a bit. With, an assault rifle or an SMG, and you're running out of ammo in these long, drawn-out fights, he didn't actually drop there. I wish he had, but he didn't. In these long, drawn-out fights, you're going to actually have to go restock. You're going to run out of ammo, have to switch guns, things like that, be using something that isn't modded properly, that you're not used to using. With your pistol, you never run out. You can always be marking targets, and you actually do decent damage sometimes. If you triple mark a target and you can still land headshots, you're going to be right up there with competitive damage to an AR on those headshots. As you can see, I mark him here with 2 marks and then drop him. I did not proc chain reaction. It's not necessary, but it is super nice when it does actually give you that bonus damage. Okay, so that's it for the build. Now I'm going to talk about the shirts. We're getting real close to 2,000 subscribers. I just finished the shirt design, as you can see here. Upper echelon. It's going to be a crest with the wings. It's going to be on the back of the shirt, and I really think it's a cool shirt design. There's going to be a little bit on the pocket square or pocket area of the t-shirt on the front. There's going to be hoodies available as well, and I'm going to put this up on Teespring right about now, actually later today, so that players, supporters of the channel can go ahead and buy it. I'm going to put a discount code down in the description, and hopefully, I'm going to set a goal of 50 to 100 shirts. I really don't know if that's going to get filled, but the more shirts that I offer, the bigger discount I can then put, the bigger discount code. So I want to say a really big thank you to all of my supporters and subscribers so far. This has really gone better than I ever could have thought. It's just a really fantastic experience, and the community is growing really well. So if you have any comments on the build, comments on the shirt, anything like that, please post it down in the feedback in the comments. It's going to run for 7 days and hopefully sell as many as possible. If we don't achieve the goal that I set, they actually won't print. So if possible, pick one up for a friend or something like that. Any of the profits at all, there's going to be very slim, because I'm going to offer as big a possible discount as I can. But any profits at all are going to go directly towards a great new microphone. I've picked one out. It's probably going to be the Audio Technica 2020. It was actually recommended to me by a subscriber, Hanzo HD, so thank you for that. I've already given you a shout out once, but you've really been helpful with, from the audio perspective, giving me feedback on microphones and things like that. So that's very nice, and I appreciate that. That's going to wrap it up. Let me know your feedback if you like the design, the shirt design. If you would be willing to purchase one, please, click the link, go ahead and set that up. It's not actually going to print until the end of the campaign, but any support right now would be very helpful. And you know, if you have feedback on it in the comments as well, keep the discussion going. So thank you again to all my supporters. I'm going to cut it there. As always, have a nice day.